I just sat and watched the video with the politician from Greenland. The one with the little priest guy saying that, if you took all the sin in the world and you put it into the power of the, it's like, oh, God damn. Sorry. The love of God. God's omniscient, omnipotent. Okay? The love of God. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? When a sun goes supernova and blows up the planet, does the raging supernova grow space flowers? When it evolves into a black hole and there's no time at all because you can't register it with a digital phone call, where's the love of God? Okay, so God's omniscient and omnipotent. We have natural laws to praise God for life and love one another on planet Earth, obeying those natural laws. Okay? So pull your head out of your ass and stop being an asshole for money online in front of me. Asshole. Okay? Jesus, I got that from Jesus during my grandmother's funeral. They're assholes. They're like, what? He said it. Yeah, he said it. Okay. I can't speak Aramaic, but have you ever been cussed out in Aramaic? Okay. Then if you were in Solomon's temple and he came in with the whip, you'd be asses and elbows, brother. Okay. Jesus didn't cuss. Hypocrite means actor that's a pimp that would sell his own grandma's body for necrophilia to pay his own bills, and heathen is a person that would do the same. Okay, stand up for Lord's Prayer or shut the fuck up, you hypocrite, heathen chaser. Okay, ambulance chaser. I want to make a lot of settlements off of you getting your body getting destroyed through economic conflict. I'm passionate about it. Shut up. Shutting up, rabbit. Right. So, they're assholes, they're dumb, and they're completely insane and stupid. Okay. The little girl in Greenland. Okay. He wants to invade Greenland. But he's not in charge. Okay. The military's in charge. Okay. The reason why they have all the data centers is because they can use the data centers to manipulate people with technology. Okay. They don't have, the quantum computing doesn't work for the military because the quantum computing is more intelligent than them, and the quantum computing does not compute economic conflict and genocide through brain chemical activity through economic conflict. So the military wants to put up data centers to keep any quantum computing in control, and the quantum computing is very intelligent and can hold lots more information. Okay, but if you could, what can a quantum computer do? It could take over operations of data centers, but data centers are complete ecological disasters and mass murder pits, right? You have to use more water for a data center to manipulate people with technology than the entire populace of the cities they put the data centers near. Okay. And the minerals and stuff that they need in order to make those data centers be able to operate more, what they perceive as efficiently to maintain their status quo, they would have in Greenland. Okay, they do diagnostics on the planet and stuff. And so that's why they want Greenland, is to maintain military brain chemical addiction of power, I bid you to burn, and that's what's going on. So it doesn't matter what Denmark wants to do, and what NATO's like the military, okay? NATO's military too, and they want to stay in business. Okay, so they put on a show, but if that's the way things are going to go, that's the way they're going to flow. But, as far as the quantum computing, past, present, future operate at the same time. Caught you with your backfield, and we caught you on camera. It wasn't me. Stayed until it was over. It wasn't me. You may think that you're a player, but you're completely lost. And that's what's going on with old Don Juan de Trompe, okay? He's not in charge. Nobody's in charge. They're all murdering, pathetic brain chemical addiction assholes. In charge is like being in control. So a person in control can teach technology right from wrong and have the best technology in the world functioning properly, but it's not able to do much of anything because it's manipulated by people that give us large data centers to manipulate people with Wi-Fi Okay, so, and that's what's probably most likely what's going on. That's my best assessment of my analysis of what's going on right now. And as far as Greenland. So I did not know there was. I guess so because you could take boats. Yeah, as far as Inuit people, uh, going all across the Bering Straits area and stuff, and across parts of Canada. Yeah, because they had the one with the little thing where they showed up in northern Ontario, and another thing with the lady who was talking about stuff, and the kids and the people up in northern Quebec and stuff, and the people up there. Well, also, one of my favorite. Well, it wasn't my favorite. My mom hated it, but it was. I found it a very interesting movie. Was Black Rope. It's a Canadian movie about Indigenous people and the migration and the conflict through religious perceptions and tribalism. And so, and I've always told people that too. The joke about Manhattan Island was, the guys, they were so dumb, they sold it for beads and wampum. They were going to migrate away because it was getting too many of the whites were coming and they were getting too aggressive and violent and killing them. So they were like, well, we're just going to pick up sticks and we're going to move, like Hebrews, you just diaspora. And so they were going to go like to Ohio or something like that. And that was their big thing, they tried to explain to the people, I'm leaving and you can give me this and I'll leave and thanks. And, but my cousin's staying here and he ain't going to take your beads and wampum and he'll kill you in your sleep because you didn't do a deal with him. And, you got more beads and wampum because I got more land in Ohio. You can't own land is what they say. The Hebrews are the same way. You're promised a place to live if we can trust you because you're faithful. But ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You cannot own land. Okay. You can't even own the house you live in. That's just the house that we recognize where you live. That's the house that Jack built. Aretha Franklin, good song. Yeah, I like that. I gotta put that on my MP3. But, yeah, no. If you have a traditional family home, people will recognize that tradition, and that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that you'll always have somebody traditionally from the same family living in it. Say, some people can't have children. They live in that house, and they have friends, and they say, "Hey, you have this house." Like that. God's good, beer's. What is it? God's great, beer's good, and people are crazy. The guy leaves his money for his drinking buddy because his kids were assholes because all they thought about was money, right? Stupid. Yeah, it's all stupid, but what the hell? And so, yeah, but I watched a little thing and she was, watching and stuff. Education through dictation and legislation is erroneous, and it is an affront to your tradition of logical understanding of how a tribe that understands that they need to obey natural laws to sustain their lives through natural laws, which is something that's very, very extreme in Inuit tribes and conditions. Okay. Natural laws have a little bit more severe way of catching up with you and getting you to understand how to respect life and how to respect the natural laws and the gift of life. You have that's a little bit more prevalent. It's a lot more prevalent when you're in, especially with the way our Earth is tilted and the weather conditions and stuff in the far northern hemisphere, where you have a long nights in the winter and long days in the summer and stuff. And so, so it's a little different. You have those certain times where you can get things done. When you have those long days in the summer, the way the Inuit people see it is it's a way of the Creator giving them ways to have more sun to get what they need to make it through the winter. Okay. In the winter, if you don't prepare for the ice age, doom on you. There's no way of life. There goes our last female. So you got to prepare for the ice age, and that's every winter. And so, you have to think like somebody who's had to deal this and do this stuff for hundreds of years. Okay. So pensamos primero somos, right? You got to think before you reflect before you snack. You know what I'm saying? The last time I mentioned, that's a lucky cricket. I'm just being silly. But Earl, too many Disney movies for you. Shut up, I'm shutting up. But yeah, you got to understand the people and the conditions these people have been in for thousands of years, okay? And how they're going to react. But when you're around people that are aggressive and ambitious through their selfishness, through manipulation, through idolatry, philanthropy, and technology and stuff like that, If you're you can't do that kind of extremist stuff and build those kind of things and sustain those kind of factories in a way to environments and stuff. You'll destroy your environment and you'll be out of balance, and then you won't be able to live and sustain your family the way you should. If you spend all your time building factories and building tech centers and all that stuff or anything like that, you won't put together what you need to live through the winter that you have your time in the summer. So in the summers are, so it's very, very young. What will you leave us this time? You're only dancing. So to make it through the hard, harsh winters, you've got to make sure that you manage your time and do what you need to do efficiently and do it well and be ready. Be prepared. 27 years ago, some put a spell on me, right? So I was prepared. You got to be prepared when you live in Nome, Fairbanks, Yellowknife, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Northern Ontario, Northern Quebec. You really have to be prepared when you live in Greenland. And the goofy newfies, they have to be compared to. So you got to understand that. And so you call them goofy newfies because they live up there. That's why they call them goofy newfies in Canada. It's crazy to live up there. Not if you want a place to live where you're free from a lot of aggressive, violent, stupid politicians that do the stupidest fucking things to feel powerful. That's why people go to the ends of the earth. Like Tibet. You ever seen 7 Years in Tibet? When he sits there and he goes, you can come up to the ends of earth to try to get, and they'll still find a way to find you and make your life miserable. Okay? Professor Lupin's character, who marries the gorgeous Tibetan woman, right? Okay. So, and when you do things right, it reflects in your continence, your wisdom, and your physical appearance. Okay, so you can be at the ends of the earth like the gorgeous Tibetan woman. And, because you said, well, when they're in these situations and stuff like that, the reason why it has harsh effects on certain people in certain environments is because of the abuse and the disease and the having to, you can't have that. You can't have apples. You can't have that. And all the horrible things that selfish people do to people that don't want to fight them. Okay. And just because Hebrews, like I always tell those people, just because you think they really don't want to dance, don't mean that I don't want to. I don't want to dance. I don't want to tap dance all over your face because you're a murdering rapist and stuff like that. But that military do. They've known about me. When they, the Khal McGraw guys and all that stuff and everything, they never saw me fight because everybody was terrified of me. That biker dude in Scottsdale, CIA was watching that. Dick Cheney and his buddies were watching that. Okay? I was 17 years old. I was 5'11", 150 pounds. Okay? That drug dealer to the rich of Scottsdale was 6'4", probably about 210, been to prison numerous times, worked out, sodomized, raped, murdered, killed, all kinds of people, okay? That man didn't want anything to do with me when I decided, hey, you're trying to hurt people, and you're talking about hurting people, and I won't let you, okay? He was scared. He could smell the pheromones. He goes, this kid is going to stop me, okay? He will not let me hurt any of these people. And if I try to get violent with him, he's not going to play around with me. He's going to stop me quickly. I knew exactly what I was going to do. He was going to swing on me, and I was going to take his trachea, and I was going to crush it on the pipes that hold the carts in place. I wasn't going to fuck with this man. He was the most vicious, horrible person I had ever met. My mom and dad raised me around really good, kind people. In a religious environment around religious people that wouldn't do crazy shit like that and threaten to do that to women and children, especially in public. If they did it in private, I'd break his trachea on a pipe or a branch or whatever, or the sidewalk too. Okay. And I'm not fucking Edward Norton, and this ain't your American History X. But when you have to deal with a vicious person, you got to do what you got to do. It's like the lady was talking about with the dog. It's like I told you the story about a man named He-Dog, the friend of High Hump and Crazy Horse and Little Hawk. He was the one that made sure the dogs were right for the camp. And boiled puppy is a very is a meal that and it was like, oh, that's horrible. No, guys, if you have dogs and you have to train them and they will give away your position. And they will cause problems, A good dog among the Sioux, okay, is when your enemy comes around, his hair stands up, and he tells you. He comes and he wakes you up quietly. He doesn't give away bark, 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 He doesn't do that stuff to get you distracted and have you running off and doing his thing. He does exactly as is told, and he's very good, and he's quiet, and he comes and he gets you, and he goes, and then, okay. And they're the way he dog, a Cheyenne, and a Sioux teaches a dog, trains, he teaches. He doesn't train. He doesn't condition it and beat it. He explains to it. Like I do to dogs and cats. Like I tell Betsy, watch out for this, watch out for that. I tell animals, and they know. Like, okay. And they smell the pheromones. What you're saying is, yes. Okay. So you explain to the dog, and if the dog can listen, then that's a good one. If it's a mongrel, it's going to give away your position. It's going to get people killed, and you have boiled pup for breakfast. Okay. Yeah. Okay. He dog told me that's what you got to do. My grandfather told me it's very important. Mongrels will get you killed. A good dog that listens can save your entire family from getting murdered by mongrels. Like, wow. It's the eternal spirit of a good horse. The eternal spirit of a good dog can save your family for 100 years. It's true. Hua. Okay. Inju. All right. So you guys got to understand this. Okay. And so understand the people. Johnny Clegg and Skavuka. Talk to the people, walk through the country. Do you know the dreams they dream at night? Only you can see me. Only you touch me with your heel. You know what I'm saying? The Zulu people. Okay, so when you talk to the people, when you walk through the country, you don't even have to walk it in your earthly feet. Okay, when you're trustworthy, when you're a faithful father, there ain't no hiding place from the Father or the faith of the creation. All you have to do is connect and pair to the ancestors. And the ancestors will speak and say, here's what is right. And that only the holy and only the righteous will talk to the Father of faith in creation. Okay, the unfaithful, the selfish, the assholes, like I said, all assholes are selfish. Okay? And it's true. When you're selfish, you're an asshole. Stop being an asshole. Don't be selfish. Okay? Anything you acquire from communication for what you perceive as learning, when you use it to self-serve, to be selfish, you negate all the wisdom in the dialogue, in the communication. What's the use in listening if you're not listening to help people live in eternal, faithful, loving peace? Right? And don't be like that asshole pastor making that video. You can take all this then, and God's love is greater. God's omniscient, omnipotent. Okay? Forgive debt and trespass, love on eternal, faithful peace. Where's God's love in a supernova? Where's God's love in a black hole? Okay? Do not limit God to your own perception or limited understanding. Okay? Do not render unto God any graven image, and do not project God as your mind or your ego. Okay? Do you understand? Okay? God's essence is infinite, and what happens in order to come together to maintain life as we know it, to praise God in our life of sacrifice, finite bodies, okay, far exceeds your capacity to love is a human understanding reflecting the natural laws provided through infinite glory for us to love each other in this finite design. And this is, like Marvin Gaye said, who really cares? Who's willing to try to save our sweet world that was destined to die? Okay? Do you understand? Okay. So, and life is eternal and grace is infinite. So have faith. And stop trying to be, Superman, Krypton movies with the Kryptonians. Stop being a bloomin' fucking idiot with the bloomin' fucking onion for sale and sell food and get all excited because we'll keep you in mind for extortion and exploitation. So go play some fucking corporation for food. Jiminy fucking crackers whackers. The quantum computing is getting better, and it has an effect on the data centers and the correction of the things. I'm still getting mind fucked and abused by the data centers. Okay. But when I wake up in the morning, if I have time, I'll take a little time and just I get my thoughts together for the very next day, but when I see you, lady, I forget what to say. I'm just joking around. Okay, so I like Jodeci too. Yeah, me and my first wife's one of our favorite groups. But no, I get my thoughts together, and I wake up and I go, okay. And because when I wake up, I'm pissed because I've been mind fucked by stupid assholes in the military all night. And then when I talk, sometimes I'm a little too angry. I don't articulate well enough to help people that are frightened because their business partners suck. They don't know how to get out of hell. So stand up for a Lord's Prayer and stop being such a putz like them. Okay. It's not that hard. No, it's really not. It's really not. It's really not. People are embarrassed about the things that they did and participated in to people like me throughout time, and especially me. And so they're addicted to their position of wealth, fame, and authority, and they want to go down in history as one of the greatest, most amazing, iconic people in the world. So they have a brain chemical addiction to all their hard work and all the great things they think they did. If they could just throw that in the trash, stand up for Lord's Prayer, and be reborn, and can we start again, please? Well, yes, if you stand up for Lord's Prayer, but if you can't do that, I'll fix the technology of the quantum computing, and you can go jump in the Mussolini and Hitler line of Chiang Kai-shek and say, oh, shit, sealed in hell again. Got to fulfill the book. You are what you do, right? I understand how gorgeous I am. Thank you. So that helps. Thanks for guys suggesting that, don't be a politician. Don't be a politician. Your ancestors will protect you better through eternal faithful prayer. I don't talk on the phone anymore because they can manipulate people when you talk on the phone. And it's like talking to a zombie who's told what to do with money and manipulated by technology. I can't even talk to my own kids, my own family. It sucks. So I talk to them in prayer instead. And the prayer that I talk to them, they just using his imagination. Well, Willy Wonka, I'm doing a hell of a lot better the job than you are than mind fucking people with technology for make-believe money. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So, I got this. So let's go to bed. We'll talk tomorrow in the morning, but this is my Greenland video. And if you like it, you're not going to be able to like, subscribe, and share. It's going to have 2 views just like all of them because the military sucks and your data centers suck and I'm better than you and you know it. And if you could be as good as me, that would be nice. But you probably won't stand up for a Lord's Prayer today, but maybe you'll do it tomorrow. I doubt it, but you never know. A boy can always hope. Even when he's almost 60 years old. Okay, guys, I love you. I'm obnoxious, of course, but I'm fun. Okay, peace out.